Now, tell me what stresses you. I want to hear this. What stresses you? Give me an example of something that stresses you.
Paying bills.
Paying bills. Looking at the bills. Paying the bills. What stresses you? Kids. Teenagers.
When I forgot to do something really important.
When I forgot to do something really important. What else is something that stresses you? School. Procrastination. How about bosses? How about workload? How about health issues? How about exes? How about exes lawyers? How about having to clean up after exes? You ever seen that? Exes. Now some of you are probably going to say, how many times have you been married? Once. Sorry, once. It's a good one. It's a good one. Now, in looking at it, I want to tell some stories, and I'll bring home the point to this. Let's say that you go home, and some of you are over in Mount Lake Terrace. I talked to some of you in your Tacoma, and you go home, and your sweetheart has for you, sitting on the table, just as you walk in your home, a gorgeous bouquet of roses. I don't care if you're male or female. There it sits with a great big card saying they love you with all their heart, etc. in there when you walk through that door. Now, what's that? What did they do? What did they do? What else? What else would you say? What do I have to do? What did I miss? What did I miss? Who's going to pay for those things? You know, the kids really needed shoes, and now he's buying roses. You know, we could go on and on. I mean, we can have so many thoughts about those roses. How did I have anyone in here say, "Oh my goodness, he or she must really love me"? Did I have that? Oh boy, this is a cynical bunch. This is really a cynical bunch. Now, I'll give you some more stories, and I'll come back to roses in a second. Let's say that you decide to take a trip. It's been a long time since you took a trip, and you are just looking forward to this trip. You're so excited. You're so turned on about it. You're sitting on by the window on the plane, looking out, enjoying thinking about your destination, and all of a sudden you look over there, and there's not a guy sitting beside you, and he is white knuckling it all the way. I mean, his teeth are chattering. His hair is wet. His armpits are wet. He doesn't dare touch that coffee of his because he knows he's going to get it all over you, all over the plane, because he knows that plane is going down. Him and the ants are going to be one any minute. Any minute. But you're cool. You're cool. Now, let's go with another story. You and a friend are out to dinner. You know how you have these visits with this wonderful friend of yours, and you're sitting there and having a great time, catching up, etc. And all of a sudden your friend catches her side and you catch your side, and oh my goodness, the pain. Oh, it is just cutting. I mean, you can hardly catch your breath. And finally your friend says, you know something, this is really awful, but I know it's just gas and it's going to pass. And you think about this for a little bit and you say, oh no, this is not just gas. This is serious. This is cancer. I know cancer when I feel it. I know it's going to be awful, etc. And I'm going to die. My family's going to suffer. I mean, it's going to be awful. Now, last story. Two little boys are playing, and one of their moms decides to go to the grocery store. And these little boys decide they want to go with her when they get to the grocery store. This little kid decides he needs a candy bar. And so he starts an asking process, and Mom says, no, and yes, I want one. And I mean, this really gets him distraught because she's not giving in to that candy bar. I mean, it gets so bad, he's crying, he's got hair on his hands, he's got it all over him. And finally, this stuff lands him on the floor, and he's dusting his pants on the floor. And his little buddy watches this for a while, and finally his little buddy looks down at him and he says, you know something? Your mommy doesn't love you anymore. To which point, that kid quits kicking, and he looks straight up at his friend and he said, that's not true. She's just cheap. Now, you told me earlier that traffic can stress stress you, kids could stress you, bills could stress you, health issues could stress you, bosses could stress you. You went through all of that with me. You answered that question right up front with me. Now, let's go with the kid on the floor. Did mommy cause him the stress? Did mommy cause him the stress? Did the kid, his friend, cause him the stress? Did the reason she didn't give him that candy bar cause him the stress? We don't know the reason. I mean, he could be hyper enough, it may be too close to dinner, she may not have had any money, she ran and whining all day or something, so she was taking out on him, etc. We don't know what went on, but the chance of her not loving him is not very high, probably. Now, let's go with the pain. Did the pain cause you the stress? Did your friend cause you the stress? Who caused you the stress? You did, because of what you said to yourself. That little kid on the floor caused himself the stress because of what he said to himself about that event. Does that make sense? Now, let's go with the airplane. Did you cause the guy on the plane the stress? Did the airplane cause him the stress? How about the coffee? Who caused him the stress? Okay, last one. Let's say your sweetheart gave you those roses because they truly loved you, but in your heart you knew they'd been up to no good. No good. Or let's say they had been up to no good, but in your heart you knew they loved you. Oh, they loved you so much. So much. Here's a big question. Does it matter why they gave you the roses? No. What matters? That they gave them to you? Oh, hold it. Because I'll tell you what, if you thought they'd been up to no good, those flowers would be drinking toilet water for the rest of the night. For the rest of the night. You would not enjoy those roses. I can promise you that. It is not what you say to yourself about what's out there. It is not what happens out there. It is what you say to yourself about what is out there. And, if you can get control of the internal dialogue that you have with yourself about what goes on out there,